It says this. We're live. Huh. Hey, good evening.
We're live.
Podcast.
And the world is watching us just yammer. Hi, everybody.
we Facebook went down around noon today, and it must have affected the entire world. Zuckerberg lost $6.6 billion. You said, Nick?
Yeah, he's down. He's only number 6 in the list of billionaires due to the 5% drop in Facebook stock today.
Man, he's only got like 115 billion left now.
Oh, shucks.
Poor Zuckerberg.
Oh.
I'm connected on my phone, and I'm holding it in my hand and trying to type on my computer to get the computer to work. But we are live. So anyway, we've got a whole bunch of tropical authors with us today. Are you guys in Brady Bunch view? Put them in Brady Bunch view. Okay. Starting at the top left, just introduce yourself rather than Nick trying to introduce everybody.
Oh, everyone's layout may be slightly different. So yeah. I'm going to introduce your name, but then you need to tell us about it. So Don Rich.
You're trying to get in on my computer.
Don Rich, tell us a little bit about your series, and also everyone tell us where you are currently, because people like to know that.
Well, I've written the Coastal Adventure series. It's based in the eastern shore of Virginia, which most people don't know that Virginia has a little peninsula over on the other side of the Chesapeake Bay. And I'm in just outside of Charlottesville, Virginia.
Great. Let me move on to Douglas Pratt. Where are you at and what do you write?
Well, I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, or technically just outside of Memphis on my farm, but I write tropical thrillers with a hero named Jace Corden, who lives on a boat in West Palm. He travels around because he's on a boat. He can go anywhere and just get into trouble all over the place. So
cool. And Nicholas Harvey, where are you at? Everyone's probably wondering that based on what they see fluttering outside that window.
Yeah, I'm in Key Largo, Florida, and it's where I live. And I write cozy alien romance, and I don't know any of these people.
But we'll get into more detail about Britnick, as we call him, later here. Let's move on to Stuart Matthews, who also appears to be somewhere tropical.
Yeah. I'm at my palm tree farm in Indianapolis.
Awesome.
My books are about a man who has a boat and a disobedient dog who just makes his life hell. And that's where we go from. That's where we start. I'm actually working on an alien sex scene right now. As I talk.
Message.
You might want to hook up with Britnick. He might be able to.
I got here to scout him. I'm gonna try and undercut him. I'm gonna get his ass. But that's me.
All right, I'm going to assume next to my Brady Bunch I have Wayne Stennett. But if you're watching the show, you know who Wayne is. Let's move on to John Cunningham, who apparently is in an antique store or something. I can't really tell.
Hey everybody, John Cunningham here. I'm in my writing barn in Virginia. Yeah, this is an old 1790s blacksmith shop in the midst of our little farm here in Northern Virginia. But I write the Buck Riley Adventure Series based out of Key West, where I'm based about half the year. I just was there, came back on Friday. And Buck lives in the La Concha Hotel. Used to be a very successful treasure hunter, lost everything, and now flies antique seaplanes and runs Last Resort Charter and Salvage, where he still does a little bit of treasure hunting, but he's also trying to help people salvage some lost souls and things of that nature. So fun little Caribbean romps.
John's book sounds really cool.
I saw an excellent October ad for John's Buck Riley series where he had a skull. Mm-hmm. And where the eye sockets were the turboprops on the flying boat. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Maybe we'll talk about seasonal ads, but we'll leave that for later.
I'm going to duck out for a minute, guys. I think my Zoom on my computer is starting to work, so I'm going to try again. If not, I'll be right back.
Okay. Once again, my
Flush,
evil
Nick.
plan to take control has met with fruition. A little malware in the Zoom. I accidentally took down Facebook though while I was just trying to, take over Wayne's podcast. I just listening to what you guys just told me, I now have one thing for each of you. Don Rich,
Yes, sir.
one of my the reason I know the Eastern Shore is because I love the ability to camp on the beach, and I have been to Assateague a number of times. Has Assateague or Chincoteague ever played a part in any of your books?
Not yet, but they're on the radar.
Excellent.
And, the Eastern Shore of Virginia is mostly farmland with little tiny towns and little fishing villages, much like Florida was 100 years ago, which makes it a lot of fun to play with because I can put whatever I want in there and nobody knows if it's true or not.
Another thing I remember about driving down the Eastern Shore was it was one of the last times I saw a chain restaurant called Po Folks. Because down in Tennessee, we had Po Folks and you get po' boys.
Sure.
And then it just vanished. And then I'm driving through Eastern Shore, Virginia, and there's a Po Folks. So that was probably my last, I think it was a sausage sandwich. I don't think anyone's logging into this to listen to what I ate at Po Folks. So let me move on. Doug, I didn't know you lived on a farm. What kind of farm? What do you have?
It's about 5-acre little farm we have outside of Memphis, and right now all I have is one horse and about 12 chickens, a couple dogs, and a ton of stray cats that keep showing up. But we used to have goats and pigs, but I like boating more than I like farming, so I got rid of the goats and the pigs. And
how did the stray cats and the 12 chickens do?
the cats are all right. They just kind of fend for themselves. And then the chickens finally kind of keep them pinned in so the coyotes don't eat them. But other than that, that's about all we do with them. So
You do have coyote issues?
I have coyotes that run out around here a lot, but I got a couple of big dogs that keep them away. But we've had fox issues really that decimated some flocks we had when I was doing meat. I used to raise meat chickens too, and
Oh, wow.
that was fun. But I had 1 year where the fox just came and tore them all up, and
Oh,
so
The fox don't pay retail.
no, they don't. Oh, they didn't. No.
I know some folks in Tennessee with an alpaca farm, and they use donkeys, which apparently are pretty darn good guards for all sorts of critters. Let's see. Oh, Stuart Matthews, speaking of dogs, so you've got a dog in your book, and this is the book Repo Man, which I narrated. The dog factors very heavily into it. It's super important. And I'm curious, do you have a dog or dogs of your own?
Oh, I have 3 dogs. Well, I have 2 dogs right now, but we're watching a third. We're watching my mother-in-law's. They're all here around me because you know how dogs are. They can't just be on their own.
Fake palm trees. Fake palm trees.
No, they're real. They're real.
Busted.
Here's one. Here's Lucy. She's
Oh.
15. She's 15. Here's our street dog. Come here. Come here. Come here. They're nice. Come here. Ah. Here's our street dog, Georgie.
Oh,
Got him this year. And here is Claudia, the guest in the house. Little King Charles Cavalier Maltese. They're all
Yeah.
small dogs because that's how I roll, man.
that's
know?
all right. I got a Chihuahua over here, but she's quiet, so I'm not going to attempt to pick her up.
Momo, come here, Momo.
Yeah.
Now, John, I'm looking over there wondering what kind of fish that is.
It's a tarpon.
Yeah, you got to know what that is. Come on.
Well, I can't make it out with the tiny Brady Bunch.
That's a tarpon, as Wayne said. That was the first one I ever caught on a fly rod. My wife surprised me with a fiberglass version of it. We of course let the fish go, but it was a pretty funny story. I think the following Christmas we were here, and my wife and daughters were all into horses, and I was never really a horse person. Sorry, Doug. I would advise going the other direction. It was Christmas morning, and my father-in-law is backing the horse, the horse van and the trailer up to my house, and my wife says, "Oh, look, your your Christmas presents here. I'm like, you got me a horse? Turned out to be the tarpon and a giant crate, which is more my style. So, but yeah, I call him Eddie.
What's
You get
what's the largest fish you've caught?
Well, I mean, I've caught, big marlin and sailfish and things like that, but, probably 250 pounds would be the biggest thing. This was about 120. That's around the biggest tarpon I've ever caught on a fly rod anyway. So good stuff, good fun, good
Cool.
flats fishing down the Keys. That's one of my favorite things to do down there.
And was there a fire in Key West? I seem to remember seeing something.
There was, yeah. And let's see, it was maybe Wednesday last week. I was on a very important business call, laying on my hammock on the porch, on my upstairs porch. I was laying back and I'm seeing all of a sudden all this black smoke appears. I'm like waiting for it to go away. I mean, this isn't a place where people like burn their backyard and stuff. You don't have very big backyards down there. So I continued on the call. I'm wearing earbuds and I walked down the street because I had a couple friends who live right in that area. And sure enough, there was a house just totally engulfed in flames, which, fire is not good in Key West. I mean, for those of you guys who've been there or people watching, that's why you have tin roofs there. Because back in the 1880s, there was a massive fire that literally burned half the island. So after that, they required that everybody have tin roofs. So when tinder floats through the air and lands on somebody's roof, it doesn't catch another house on fire. So fortunately, no other houses burned, but this thing had a lot of damage. Pretty scary. Yeah. Crazy.
Well, Nicholas Harvey, I left you out. Let me ask, I don't know why this came to me, but I was looking at fish and him talking about catching fish. And then I'm thinking where you're living and I'm wondering, do you ever go out for lobster? Or like, what are the rules there? Are you allowed to throw on some flippers and
There's
see if you get
seasons.
lucky?
Yeah, there's seasons and there's areas you can't go. You can't go in the spas, which is the protected reef area and stuff. But there's a number that you can take and all that kind of stuff. I haven't gone for a while. When it comes in season, it's a zoo around here, and there is a lot of boats out there with a lot of drunk people on them, pulling too many lobsters off. So I haven't done it in a while. Actually, last summer I went out with it on a boat with a guy that was here, and we grabbed a couple. That was fun. And occasionally I'll spear mainly the lionfish, to pull them off the reef. And it's pretty cleaned up on the main reefs where everyone dives. But if you go to some of the quieter spots, and they do tournaments, lionfish cull tournaments to help clean them off the reef, and they're pretty fun to do. We've done a few of those, and they make great tacos. They're a pain in the ass because they look like a big fish, but when you get down to it, it's like this big. In the bit you can eat, but Cheryl's really good at filleting them and making good tacos.
I
Well,
finally
Wayne?
got the computer working.
You're up. Okay.
I'm on the big screen. And Nick mentioned
Nice
my
shirt.
shirt and chat there. I'm with stupid.
Well, I feel like this is a topic we need to get to here on Talk Right, given our connection with tropical authors. And Wayne's wearing this T-shirt, and maybe he can explain what the T-shirt means, and then we can maybe talk a bit about who I'm thinking of.
Well, I got this shirt, I guess it was 2 years ago next month when Greta and I went on a cruise with Dawn McKenna and a whole bunch of her fans. There was a few other writers there. And unfortunately, we lost Dawn a week ago Saturday. She succumbed to cancer. She's been fighting for a couple of years. And she had these shirts made for everybody on the cruise. It says, "I'm with stupid." STOOPID. It's a rooster. She created a rooster character in her books. Only Dawn could get away with that. But she had no idea that it was going to catch on the way it did. And stupid is now the focal point in Apalachicola lore. But yeah, she's definitely going to be missed. I really enjoyed her books, and I just liked her as a person. She's a really, really nice lady.
I'll jump on and say that I've never met Dawn Lee McKenna in person, but I've heard about her for quite some time, narrating for Wayne. She actually has a small section in Wayne's nonfiction Blue Collar to No Collar, which offers some great advice on how to use Amazon to your advantage as a self-pub author. And I read her first book, Low Tide, which a lot of first books in series, even I like My Deep Shadow, but it's got a little bit of a slow start, and I think I'm much better with my later books. First books frequently are not the best books, but she had a phenomenal first book. So if you're watching this show, I'd say half of you know who she is, but if you've never read Dawn, run out and grab Low Tide, the book one of the Forgotten Coast series. I think it's if you're a Prime member, it's free for Prime, but it's a fantastic series, and her dialogue is just fantastic, and the books are so funny without trying to be. I just can't say enough about them.
And towards the end, her main character goes out to a bridge in a boat, and where she encounters this crusty old oysterman with a gray beard and a bald head who used to be a Marine. And his name is Wayne Stennett, believe it or not. And so turnabout being fair play, I made Dawn a fortune teller in Key West in my next book. And she saved Jesse's life. You might remember that in Fallen Honor.
Yes, yeah. Actually, Wayne and Dawn were the first time I'd seen crossovers like that. And Brittnick here can certainly attest that crossovers are fun.
They're a lot of fun. And the Axel, of course, who she went on to write another series with, she featured as a boat owner in her early stuff. And I got to second what you say there, Nick. I mean, the consistency from her first book in the series to the 10th book in the series is perfect. They don't change. And that's how good her first book was. But it wasn't her first book. So See You is her first book. And if you... so this is why I write alien romance, you see, because I like this kind of thing. So, but See You is, for me, I didn't read it until 4 months ago, maybe. And then when I started her series, her Forgotten Coast series, I read book one, and then I binged the whole series. I couldn't stop reading them. It was the only author I read for like 2 months. And but I hadn't read See You, and I don't know why, because everyone said it's this amazing book. And I did about 4 months ago, and it literally is to me, it's a classic novel that should be on the end of aisle in Barnes and Noble and should be a huge bestseller. And it sold well, but it didn't become what it should be. And hopefully one day it will, because it is a fantastic story, and it has romance in it, but it's not a romance book by any means.
It's a Southern love story.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the way I describe it. It's just so true to the characters and true to life.
I mean, that's Dawn, though. I mean, that she lived that life. You know, she knows those characters because those are people that she grew up with and knew. Yeah. I don't know if anyone ever read. Gosh, what was the second mystery series she did? Was it called Black and White?
Black and White,
yeah.
That was really good.
That Dawn said that, you know, a lot of the experience of the main characters and stuff there was based off her experience growing up, you know, in like a very like racially mixed neighborhood when you know, she was a kid. And if I can steal it for a second, I you know, Dawn McKenna to me was I haven't said much about Dawn's death because, you know, she's such a vitally important person to me, and I know, you know, to Wayne as well. You know, we had the privilege of knowing Dawn. Really, I think we met her about the time she was writing See You, right, Wayne? Or she had just put out See You when we first started to, you know, talk to her a lot. And
when she invited me to the AC, I think she had just She
She had
just
put it out.
published her first or second Forgotten Coast book.
Yeah, Low Tide, was it? Well,
Yeah,
the two
I
came
think it
out
was the
back to back.
second one.
Yeah,
The first, second, and third came out like 28 days apart.
Yeah.
Each one.
yeah, it was crazy because
Yeah.
her basement was flooding and she couldn't afford toilet paper anymore.
Yeah.
So she had to write all three back to back to back like that. And I mean, to people who are not authors and maybe don't know Dawn as well as some of us here, you know, I think the amount of people who would call her a friend and who would say that, you know, she helped them at some time or another, you know, within this community of independent authors, is really a testament to the kind of person that Dawn was. I mean, I know personally, you know, she lent me money for you know, one of my books early on so I could afford to get it proofread. You know, I mean, that's the kind of person Dawn was. Like, I just, you know, I'd known her for a couple of years, and I sent her a message on Facebook, and we were talking, and, you know, I told her that, and she just, like, I didn't have to ask. She's like, hey, you know, you need some money for that? I was like, sure, Dawn. I was like, okay, yeah, you're gonna send me money? Sure. And then she did, and I was like, oh, okay. So she really is just a wonderful person with a giving heart, and it's hard to come to terms with her not being around, you know, after knowing her for so long. And I think one of my great regrets is not having got to met her, you know, in person. You know, we had a couple times where we tried, it just didn't work out. And yeah, she's a wonderful person. I miss her dearly.
He was going to be down in Apalachicola in 3 weeks, and there's
Like,
a,
oh,
a group of us
okay.
that we're going to go, and that's going to be a much different trip.
Oh.
Yeah, just for our viewers, there was there's quite a few people going. The Tropical Authors has only been around for about a year and a half, I think. And when we formed it, Wayne was the first person I thought of. Dawn was the second.
Yeah.
And then the list went from there. And recently, a group decided to get together in the area that she sets her books in October, and she was fully planning on going there. So this was, you know, quite a shock, because a lot of people were going to get their first chance to sit down with her after spending so much time talking with her, either on Facebook Messenger or talking with her on the phone. But you know, the group, I believe, is still going to be gathering, and hopefully a lot of beers will be raised, or whatever she drank. What did Dawn drink? Anybody know? What was her poison?
I have no
Coffee.
idea.
Never came up.
Lots and lots of coffee.
Yeah, she did drink a lot
Lots
of coffee.
of coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to get a cup from Kirk's coffee shop.
Oh, right.
Because
She had her.
badgered him for forever before he would ever give her a cup, and because she just loved it. She thought it was the best coffee cup in the world.
And that's the cool thing about her book. She used so many real places and real people, and people read the books and they don't realize that Kirk is a real person. He's a genuine coffee Nazi. Kirk, if you're watching, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
But it's true,
And
buddy. Come on.
I would like to have a cup when I come to Appalachia.
I think you might be proud of that term, actually.
Well,
yeah, the Boss Oyster, that's mentioned in her books, and whenever she'd go down there, I mean, she probably didn't pay for a whole lot whenever she went down.
Brittnick, did you send her a favorite tropical fruit or something that you managed to get your hands on?
Yeah, and you're probably going to ask me what it was called, and I can't even. I can't.
Geneps.
Geneps. Yeah.
Geneps.
It has like
Spanish,
17
Spanish
names.
limes.
Yeah, and they have a very short season, and she'd mentioned that she loved them, and on our forum, and I kept checking back as to when the season was right for them, and you know they have these little sort of outdoor markets here in Key Largo, and they're kind of these Cuban guys that run them, and they have like fruits that you've never seen before. And finally, we found one that had them in stock. So we boxed a bag up and shipped them to her. And I'm pretty sure they were rotten by the time they got there. So they took we got 2 bags because my wife Cheryl had a friend who also said, "Oh, I like those," things, when we posted something on Facebook about it. And when hers arrived, they were like, kind of growing out of the box 2 days later with the heat down here sending them out. It was in June, I think. And but Dawn just was effervescent about it. She said, "This is the best thing ever. I haven't had these in 20 years. It's brilliant," and everything else. And I'm sure she was just saying that because I'm sure they were rotten as hell. But that was also the way Dawn was. And she, for me, I'd been a huge fan of hers before I ever was in contact with her, and she was on these sites. And she was someone, that was to me, that was up here somewhere in the stratosphere of authors, and and some of the other guys knew her and what have you. And then she started chatting like everybody else in the forums that we have and what have you.
Mhm.
And months ago, earlier in this year, actually, when I was about to release a book, I was quizzing kind of people talking about release and how to release and stuff like that. She messaged me and private messaged me, and I was like, "Oh my God." And we traded a couple of messages before, but this was kind of a big deal. And I sent her a message back and asked her a few questions, and she said, "Here's my number, call me." 2.5 hours later, I got off the phone, and she ran through everything that she could share with me about releasing books and what she did and it worked for her. And then we moved on to talking about so many different things. And she was in no hurry. And in multiple times on the phone call, I'm like, "I'm sure you're busy. You've got to go, And she's like, "Oh, I'm fine." And she chatted away. And this is in the midst of everything that she was going through at the time, being hooked up to chemo and all the stuff that she went through for so long. So absolutely wonderful person, amazing. I share everyone's sadness in her loss, but also the fact that I never got to shake her hand and give her a hug and meet her in person. But she will be greatly missed by so many people. She had such an influence.
And the one of the other forums that Stuart and I are in, when Dawn was first diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago, a bunch of us got together. I see you smiling. A bunch of us got together and we wrote a novel, and there's like 14 of us wrote different parts, like we did with Graceless, but 14 of us, and each one took the book in a different direction, and it was like all over the map.
I'm pretty sure
they left it to me to unravel everything and bring all the lines together at the end.
Yeah, that's right. You were the closer, Wayne. That's true. I think I don't know if you guys know, Dawn loved both Tommy Lee Jones and Martin Sheen, and I think in that book she got with both of them, right? Wasn't that the thing? I think Axel wrote a beach sex scene with Dawn and Martin Sheen, I want to say. It was
John
pretty
Cusack.
funny.
She was obsessed with John Cusack.
Oh, no.
She didn't include him. She was
didn't.
John Cusack. Yeah.
Well, I know she met Martin Sheen and hung out with him when she was in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to spoil which character, because I don't think people should have characters spoiled.
No.
Experience who they are, but she did base one of her major characters in the Forgotten series is based on Martin Sheen. And I know someone that was going to narrate it. She's like, "It's got to sound a little bit like Martin Sheen." Like,
the book finally ended with this monster of the deep coming ashore and creating havoc in whatever town it was in, and it was the Kraken, only was spelled with 2 C's instead of 2 K's, Cracen, which is, and she destroyed the Kraken with magic at the very end. And if you rearrange the letters Cracen, it spells cancer.
Oh,
so that was my contribution.
Yeah. Didn't somebody also have her trip downstairs and like break her ankle at some point too?
Yeah, well, it couldn't be a book about Dawn without her tripping
some insane accident.
She told a story one time where she was at a gas station getting gas in her car, and some guy pulled in and pulled around behind her and said something off color to her. And she turned and pointed the gas nozzle at the guy and held a Bic lighter in front of him and said, "What'd you say?" And he sped away.
We were messaging back and forth, and I quoted a line. I don't know why, but I just quoted a line from Grosse Point Blank. I love that movie. She went off. Oh my gosh, she knew that movie. She could quote it verbatim from start to finish. Just absolutely loved that movie and Cusack in it.
Well, that was a great movie. He
Yeah.
played such a cool character.
As I understand it, Dawn got her writing start. She was working on screenplays and television pilots,
Like the
She wrote her
80s, right?
first screenplay at the age of 18, I think.
which explains why her dialogue is so good, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. She always had, I think Dawn's thing, I mean, she always had such strong dialogue and such great characters.
Yeah.
I mean, that, you know, reading
Character.
reading Low Tide was what, you know, got me to be like, oh man, I want to write mysteries. Like, look at this. This is amazing. I can do this, you know? So, yeah.
I remember
that's Dawn.
some graveyard humor between some of the cops when they're looking at the corpse, and I remember thinking, oh, this is kind of like Law and Order, except this is actually funny. It was quite good.
You're not getting work there anymore, buddy.
Oh, I've had enough.
I saw you on another one. I don't remember which one, but I saw you on another one.
Oh, the Laws and the Orders.
Those, yes.
Yeah, I think I've done 8.
Damn,
I
really?
thought it was 7, but then a friend of mine said, no, you also did this one. I was like, oh, right.
Yeah,
How
that
many-
was the one that showed you from here to here. Or from here down.
What was that?
Shuffling papers. He was playing a lawyer, a divorce lawyer or something.
Oh, that
And-
was, I had nothing to do in that. What was that?
Oh,
I think it was
heard your
called
voice.
Divorce. Wasn't it called Divorce?
I heard your voice, and you're thumbing through the file, and it only shows you from the neck down. And I thought, yeah, that's definitely Nick.
But did you get to die in it? I mean, I've heard that's the big thing is.
Oh,
I
here we
died.
go.
No,
Here
no,
we
no,
go.
no,
Don
no
Richard
spoilers.
is killing all the authors.
No spoilers.
No, no spoilers. But some of us
Yeah,
might be
you-
dead soon.
I know.
What
I
was the
set
one
you
with
up.
the exploding head?
Yeah, I remember seeing Nick with his head explode. I wanted
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
there.
I've been shot and killed, although I took one of them down.
Nice.
And that's it.
Have you ever like eaten anybody as part of a Law and Order plot?
Eaten anybody?
Yeah.
That's very specific. Why would that be in your head?
Did you write zombie books?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
No.
No.
Ah,
Uh,
damn.
I don't
Let's
know
see.
what
Oh.
happened to Cap. I texted him, but haven't got an answer.
And if anyone's confused, I don't
was
write
pretty-
alien
he was
romance.
pretty
but
excited
Nick
about
does
being
write
on here.
zombie books.
yes.
If anyone's confused, I do write alien romance.
Let's say. Alien Romance would be great. We could collab on something like that.
I hope you like tentacles, buddy.
Hey,
Somebody
someone's gotta
sent
pick
me
it up and
Bigfoot
do the
romance
next.
the other day.
Yeah.
someone's got to do the next thing to Graceless. So maybe that's what it is. It's a trop author alien infused romance with. So there you go, guys. Roll with it.
Wait, I know the thing that we haven't done. If we didn't scare anyone away with our extremely late start, do we have any YouTube questions there, Wayne?
I just got YouTube to work just a few minutes ago. as a matter of
Okay.
fact.
Yes, YouTube and
there's-
Facebook
there was-
are not owned by the same people, so we
There
can't.
was a lot of chat going back and forth, and
Okay, good. Well, let's see if we
Nick.
can pull something. And who's ringing?
You know what I've always wanted to do? It's now that I hear a phone ringing and talking about questions. If I ever get super famous,
sorry about that. Whoever's barking.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
whose
my
dog
dog.
is that?
That's my dog. That's my dog. I think she's senile. She doesn't know where she is. It's really it's kind of sad and also funny at the same time. Anyway, I've always wanted to if I get super famous, open up an 800 number and just just tell people what it is, and just answer it. Just see what's going on. Say hi. That's my thought for the day. Thank you.
I don't think you need to be a millionaire to have an 800 number.
You
should just do
really,
it.
Mr. Big Bucks.
No,
Oh,
just
really?
go ahead. Go and get your 800 number. Have some fun.
There's got to be something funny. It's got to be like 1-800 Mad Bud or something. Like it's got to be just something totally off the wall that sticks with you. I gotta think about that.
All right, John, over in the writing barn, you've been very quiet. What are some clever ideas you would have for entrepreneurs, perhaps not involving
And doing
zombies
what?
or go ahead.
No, and entrepreneurs to do what?
Well, I don't know. I was trying to segue off of the 800 number that was starting to scare me. And I thought, oh, he's in that beautiful location. He'll have something calming he can talk about.
Oh yeah, super
So
calm.
some way for people to download ebooks directly into their brain, so they can just kind of walk around and think about, the stories and just hear them as they go. Which is, earbuds are good, but it just constantly plays, so they never get away.
Ooh, how about Oculus books?
Yeah, there you go.
You could actually see Stupid the Rooster like charging at you when you're reading Dawn's books.
I thought it was going to be like a virtual Oculus book, like you're really reading a book right in front of you. It's a joke. It's not.
What were those Google glasses they were going to make for a while, where you could just see in the glasses? That'd be a brilliant way to like drive your car and kill yourself. But
They actually came out with those and they work great. But if you're walking down the street, all these little signs start appearing and you walk out in front of a taxi.
yeah, exactly.
You can only wear them driving a Tesla.
A self-driving Tesla.
Exactly.
You die
You'd
twice.
probably drive better if you're looking at one of those.
Yeah. I saw a YouTube video that was quite lengthy, but the whole premise of it was that when a Tesla runs out of charge, you can call your buddy and he can come and hook up a tow strap and tow you, and it will regenerate the battery.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, isn't that great?
Have
But if you don't
the
have a buddy
SUV?
nearby, you can call a tow truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the SUVs? Ewan McGregor used one in his last long way up or down or whatever it was, and they went on at e-bikes, which was a bit of a disaster. But the vehicles they had along were e-vehicles, and they were these new pickup trucks that have just come out. Do you remember the name of them, Cheryl? I can't remember what they're called. They just got released, and they're like 75 grand each. But they had
You're
the
talking
same
about the Cybertruck?
It's not called Cybertruck. No,
Oh,
it's a
Cybertruck.
different brand altogether. It's a new company completely.
Oh,
They're really
okay.
cool looking, but they did the same thing. If you towed it, it would recharge. So there were situations where they had two of their service vehicles, and one of them would die, and the one that still had battery was towing the one that had died to give it some battery charge so they could make it to the next town and plug it in. Rivian, that's what they're called.
Like-
Thank you, Cheryl.
It kind of defeats the purpose, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting towed by a petroleum using vehicle to recharge your battery vehicle. It's like kind of negates itself.
Well, could you start at the top of a hill, just run it down and let it like pop in the clutch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
I'm
good,
sure
right?
that's yeah. If you're driving in hilly country, just shut the power off and coast down the hill and recharge the battery and power it back up and go up the next hill. Of
Or,
course, the amount of power that you gain, you're going to lose going up the next hill. So again, it's I'll stick with my F-250. Thank you very much.
I saw they're going to be coming out with a whole new series of outboard motors that are going to be electric. All that electricity out on salt water. What could possibly go wrong?
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, selling La Vagabond, their next boat, they're building it in Vietnam right now. It's a trimaran, and it'll have one electric motor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be really state of the art, connected to a sail drive. Literally, you don't really have to reverse it. You just turn it. The sail drive just turns around.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have one of those generator propellers that drops under the
Yeah.
craft? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Well,
kind of cool.
when you're under sail, the propeller's still turning. I've
Yeah,
noticed
so
this
you're
in
still
my
generating
boat.
power.
The
Yeah.
propeller's turning constantly while you're sailing.
Yeah.
And I want to just mount an alternator on top of that sail drive and just collect that energy.
I'm sure somebody's gonna do something like that. Well, I mean, he had Riley had one that was like a
little tow
like a
motor
generator.
thing.
Yeah, that he just he towed it behind him. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's how submarines ran for 60, 70 years was electrical power and battery banks. The diesel subs, that's how they actually ran. The diesels just charged the batteries on the surface.
Yeah.
Cruise ships, they all run on electric motors with giant generators.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like just having an electric trolling motor on the bow of the boat, so when you're fishing, you don't need an anchor. You control it and it holds you in place. It's a sweet thing. You want to move a little bit, you can move a little bit, but
Yeah. Good luck with that here. When the tide changes here, it rises from low tide to high tide up to 10 feet.
Ooh,
And the current runs at about 2 knots. So
there you
an electric trolling motor is not going to run you that fast.
go. Well, we'll do it down the Keys. Come on down the Keys, Wayne.
Well, power poles, that's what we use here.
Yeah, those are good too. Those are good too.
Hey, Stuart, it's not getting dark where you are.
Yeah. When you're in Indianapolis, it's sunshine all the time, baby.
I lived in Indianapolis for a year. Believe me, it's not
Did
like
you?
Yeah, it
Sorry.
suddenly got dark behind you, Nick. I was looking at the palm trees and how they were waving, and all of a sudden it's dark.
Sorry, it actually, we got our.
Oh yeah, it's dark outside.
And I'm facing east, so we normally get. It must have been cloudy out west because normally we get really nice light from the sunset over here on the key out here. So.
Well, I'm not seeing any questions on YouTube. Been quite a bit of chatter going back and forth, but
I had a thought here that
there was one question. I was debating whether to ask it or not because it's from AJ Stewart. But Nick, did you play Mel Gibson's Stunt Butt?
That's a very specific question. Much like Stuart's question, it makes me wonder why it was asked and what's going on in AJ's mind.
I second his question. I think we'd all like to know the truth about this.
Oh yeah.
It's yes or no, Nick. Yes or no.
Well,
Very simple.
no. I'm just trying to think if I've ever seen him or been in something he was in, but no. We've got a few minutes left here, or slightly more.
Actually, we're gonna go about 10 minutes over because we started late.
Well, why don't I'm curious what everybody's up to, like what everybody's working on. If everyone, I'll go down my list of how I see people in my Brady Bunch here, and just to give us a few minutes of what you're currently working on. It doesn't have to be work. It could be something you're doing around the house, but what are folks up to? Don, let me start there over in Virginia. What are you up to next?
I just finished Coastal Curse. It just came back from proof and edit, and just went through it one last time, putting a few things together on it, run it through Vellum tonight, and then I'll get ARCs out to anybody and everybody that was mentioned in it. So they can go, wait a minute, what did you do?
Did you manage to kill off? Sorry, shouldn't say that.
You're on the list, fella.
Shit, that's what I was going to ask. Who all got it?
So those will go out probably tomorrow.
Cool. Doug, how about you?
Well, I've got a new release coming out. Runaway Tide will be out on the 15th. So all I'm really waiting on that is my cover artist to finish up my paperback cover, and it'll be ready to go out. And then I'm just working on the next book, which is Devil Water, and about halfway through it at this point. So hoping to finish it up by the.
And so you have Runaway Tide coming out on about the 15th, and if I remember correctly, your other books, if someone
gonna-
hasn't read your stuff, they can pick those up for a steal, right?
Yes, that during that week there'll be a nice little sale going on for the first two Chase Gordon books. I think I'm gonna run the Diamond Reef will be free the week of launch, and Dark Key will be 99 cents. So it'll be some good opportunity to grab some cheap reads.
So Nicholas Harvey there with the view of darkness. What do you got going on?
So I have Gardens of the Queen. My book 2 is free for a few days on Amazon. So if anyone wants to give that a whirl. And then I'm writing currently, I'm about a third of the way through Half Moon Bay, which is book 11 in my AJ Bailey series. And what else am I doing? So I'm also starting to plan, and we've got as far as doing the cover for, see, I'm going to say it, Nick. And then once I say it, it's
You're going
out
to commit
there.
me. I know.
I'm going to commit you. So this other author, small time guy, no one knows of him, called Nick Sullivan, is joining me in writing a little Christmas novella. So the two of us are going to have our characters get together in a little Christmas story, which is kind of cool. And so we've been plotting that out, and we did the most important thing, which is have fun making a cover first. And then, yeah, we're not going to pre-order it because we don't know that we'll actually get it written with everything else we have going. But apparently Nick's busy. Some guy called Wayne Stinnett gave him a whole bunch of books to narrate. So
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've got him busy for 48 straight days,
he showed me.
recording 4 books.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent me a schedule, like a schedule that he made for me. And I tried to get out of it by pointing out that the file format he had it in, I didn't have software that could open it. But he converted it to something I could read, and it was terrifying.
Yeah. But
how about you, Stuart? You mentioned something about a short.
Yeah.
Might be close to being done.
Yes, I want to go back because John Cunningham made his book sound so goddamn good, and I just made mine sound like awful crap. It's about a PI who lives on a boat in Dinner Key Marina, and there's a bit of murder. There's a bit of ladies. It's very Hyacinth, very John D. McDonald. But anyway, yes, I've written a short that I'm going to use for anyone who wants to sign up to my mailing list. They will get this short for free at no charge. It is kind of a short follow-up to that first book, where the main character is going to meet an old friend on St. Lucia, and he gets waylaid because he answers a distress call outside of Montserrat, which really cool island, the only volcanic island in the Caribbean. So yeah, there's a lot of adventure to be had there.
I'm looking forward to that. I read the first book. It was really good.
Well, thank you very much.
you think you did your books a disservice? I think I killed mine. The intro.
That's right. Zombie horror romance, whatever.
Romance.
John, what are you writing in the writing book? I imagine if you're in that barn, you have to be writing.
Yeah, sometimes. I'm working on a couple things. I'm just finishing up the latest iteration of a 1970s kind of a drug smuggling TV show pilot, which I've been working on with another writer, and he just had it. He's part of a writing group, and he just had it read by a number of people who have currently writing different TV shows and things, and they liked it. Of course, they gave us suggestions, so we're meeting again tomorrow morning to talk about that. So that's been kind of a little passion project I've been working on for a while. Working on actually my 5th book in the Buck Riley series, Maroon Rising, is coming out in audio book in about 10 days. So I'm excited about that. Well into book number 10 in the Buck Riley series on, getting that going. So I'm happy about that as well. But, what I was going to mention to the two Nicks is, well, for Mr. Harvey, if you're planning on having AJ Bailey, in this Christmas novella, you're going to have to find her because Buck's already got a date to pick her up in his plane. And he won't tell me where he's taking her, but so, you know, you may be in trouble there.
So since we all wrote Graceless, John has an obsession. Oh no, Buck Riley apparently has an obsession in John's imagination that he's going to get together with either AJ Bailey or Nora Summer, who's my other main character. I told him Nora would chew him up and spit him out, but
Where are we without our imaginations, right, guys? Come on.
Yeah.
I know the truth.
Well, Wayne, what are you up to? I know you're back from NINC. People may not realize Novelists Incorporated, Wayne was the president in 2019. But you've got quite a bit on your plate, I know, because it's now on my plate.
Actually, I'm putting it all on your plate and I'm done.
take
I just sent Lost Charity to my editor, and next week I'll send All Ahead Full to my beta readers, and then to the editor the week after that. I wrote 2 books at once all summer and got them both done on time. And after I'm done with that, I'm taking the rest of the year off. I'm not going to be writing any until January.
Wow.
And I've got a lot of things on my plate. My new business venture, Down Island Press, is going to be kicking off. We've got a couple of submissions already. And I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun working with new authors.
Cool. And
What are
I'm
you doing,
working
Nick?
on book 5 in the Deep series, hit just shy of 82,000 words.
81,900. Get back to work.
81,900. After this call, I'm going to do 100 words just on principle, even if it's word. Let's see, how are we doing? Oh, we're still doing good. Well, Wayne,
I do
what you
have
think?
I do have a
questions?
question. Yes.
Good.
T. Tukes writes, why is Graceless being released until next year? And that's a very good question. And since the three of the 4 of us are, well, all 4 of us are here, we have decided to have a long pre-order, and with the hopes of the book getting on the USA Today bestsellers list. And currently we're at slightly over 1,300, maybe 1,350 pre-orders. We need about 3,500 more. So if anybody's watching and you got $1, just drop it in the till.
It's only $1.
It's only $1.
It's worth noting that none of us are taking any money for writing that book. It's really all going to promote tropical authors. And I think last count there was like 35 of us, wasn't it, Nick, or something like, I don't know what the number is now, but
Yeah,
it's
tropical
really to
authors
bring
is about
attention to the
35.
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And so
yeah,
far
and
it's
we're hoping
raised,
that,
it'll be, well, if we get on the bestsellers list, we'll probably have somewhere around $1,500 to spend on advertising for tropical authors and to cover the website and maintenance and everything. And I think that'll cover us for a year.
Yeah, that'd be great. For those watching, this is 4 of the tropical authors, which is a group of authors at tropicalauthors.com, which is we don't charge anything. It's just a group of people. 4 of us got together and wrote a story that connects with a central character between all of our different books. And the idea is it's going to introduce each and every one of us 4. The readers of one of us will be interested, hopefully, in the other 3. So it's an idea that we hope other tropical authors will jump in and match themselves up based on, who goes well with each other, what pairs well with fish. And by doing this, we're hoping to turn tropical authors into something where we can start, doing some advertising and such.
When Britnick started to talk about your collaboration for Christmas, I thought he was going to go ahead and launch into Timeless.
well, I tell you, now you said you're taking the rest of the year off. I'm like, I'm going to say,
Yeah. Is he now?
maybe not.
Yeah, Graceless might have another book coming.
there won't be internet where I'll be. So
Oh, lucky.
Nice.
Good for you.
The Christmas collab, the reason it needs to happen is Britnick is set in the Cayman Islands. That's where AJ is. And Hicknick, I'm nomadically move my people to different islands. So they're in Caymans now, but they won't be on book 6. So this is the time to strike.
And it's like, just like Graceless did, this has already taken on a little bit of a of its own, some momentum. It's we had this idea. I don't want to give away the plot, but I had this idea, and it involves a sculpture. And so I messaged a friend of mine, Drew MacArthur on Cayman, who's a photographer. He's a diver. He's a tech diver. He works for one of the big dive tech, one of the big dive operations over there, and super guy. And he shoots a lot of my covers, pictures for the covers of my books. So I sent him a note and asked him a question about the Guardian of the Deep, which is one of the off of Lighthouse Point in Grand Cayman. Dive Tech put a statue down there, and it's this kind of King Neptune type thing, Guardian of the Deep. And I asked him some questions about the statue, and he said, "Well, I know the guy who did it, this guy Simon." And I said, "Yeah, put me in touch." I ended up having this like hour-long conversation on the phone with this Canadian guy who did that sculpture. And if anyone knows of the iconic mermaid sculpture that's off Sunset House in Grand Cayman, you've seen it in every advert for Grand Cayman diving ever. And he did that sculpture too. Superb guy, and he ran me through the whole process of how they made these sculptures and everything else. So it's kind of like, you know, and he agreed to be the artist in the story as the sculptor, because there's going to be this sculpture that's kind of involved in this story. And it involves Christmas somehow, right? But super guy. So now it's like, well, shit, this guy's on board. We got to do it.
Have to write it.
Yeah, we better do it.
I told you there was no holding him back, Nick.
No, I know.
Once he gets an idea in his head, he's just going to roll with it.
Well, and after he told me, I spoke to the sculptor. He's on board. I'm like, good. All right, I'll do it. And then the next day, you tell me 4 books to record. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, I've known I need to do them, so they'll be.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. So, but doing those co-ops and having our characters in other books, I've actually had. Some people don't know. Nick Sullivan has been in one of my books. So in my book Ghost Mountain, I actually had Nick Sullivan as a cameo role as this writer photographer that was on a boat. So
What a concept.
Don't start, Rich. Don't start.
Don,
Any other questions on YouTube there?
Well, Tukes asks if TA is a 529B corporation, and I had to ask him what that was, and it's apparently a corporation that can accept donations tax-free.
Oh,
Ma'am,
So that's
I'm
something we
not
might
accept
want to look
donations.
at.
my response is not yet. We'll take a look.
That might be something we want to take a look at. But other than that, YouTube is clear.
Okay.
Great way
And-
to contribute to TA is to gift copies of Graceless to all your friends.
Yes.
That's right. Buy it for $1 and give it to a buddy.
I don't know if you can gift a pre-order. I may have just said something that.
Oh,
can't
that's yeah. We don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know. I think you can.
Or you can just wire me $1 million.
happen.
You'll promise to use some for TA. TA may have a different, definition then, but who knows?
Okay, well, Greta has dinner about on the table, so Jordan and I have to get downstairs. So I want to thank you guys for being on here again. Some of you have been on here 2 or 3 times, and it's always fun. And I want to thank our sponsors, Down Island Press, Pirate Radio, Aurora Publicity, and of course, Tropical Authors. If you need a new beach read for the rest of the summer, well, summer's over. Go to the beach anyway. It's still nice. And take
But
a
in
good book with you.
Indianapolis, look, it's still summer in Indianapolis.
It's still daylight too, and wherever Nick's at.
It's beautiful here. It's just beautiful year round, I'll tell you.
All right, guys, it's been great, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Wayne.